Yeah, so how do we MIDI learn? Okay, so I've got this controller here. It's a MIDI controller, it's got the keys on it. It doesn't actually have a dial, but I have this mod button here, and depending on how hard I press it, it's gonna make our dial move. So you might have dials on your MIDI keyboard, and you're gonna be setting up the MIDI learn in the exact same way. So I'll just show you how to do it. So let's go into the synth, click open Alchemy. We're gonna go and find our filter. So I'll cut off filters here. Okay, so you can hear it when I play. Yeah, when I play, it opens up the filter, we get more high frequencies, etc, etc. So now I want to learn this to my modulation button. In your case, it might be a dial, modulation dial button, it's all the same. Right, so I want to learn this cutoff to my modulation button. So how do I do it? So I want to make sure the last thing that I've pressed or turned or maneuvered in the synth is the cutoff, the one I want to change. Okay, once I've done that, you come up to Logic Pro, come up to Control Surfaces, Learn Assignment for Cutoff. Okay, now you can see here it's saying no message received. Okay, so it's basically waiting for you to tell it which dial on your MIDI controller you want to link to the parameter we just moved in Logic. Okay, so I want the mod wheel, so I'm going to click the mod wheel, boom, and as you can see, mod wheel's popped up on the screen, and it has linked itself to the cutoff in the Alchemy, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so that has worked. Now we just get rid of this, and now you can hear when I play my keys, the filter's down low. When I hit the mod button, yeah, and that'll work the same for any dial you have on your MIDI controller. It works exactly the same in previous versions of Logic. I know this is a new version, but yeah, it works exactly the same. So don't worry if you're on Logic 9 or one of the older ones. That's about it, guys, really. So yeah, you can link as many things up on your MIDI keyboard as you want. Some keyboards have like multiple dials. You know, once you start layering these things in, you know, you can have a lot of control over what's going on in Logic just with a MIDI keyboard or MIDI controller, so long as it has dial parameters, or in this case a little button one, which I don't advise. A dial is much better, but this is what I'm working with here, so I'll just show you that way. Okay, right, so we're going to do a quick recap on everything we've just gone over in terms of learning MIDI to dials on the keyboard. So first of all, what you need to do is select which parameter in Logic you want to learn, and then you do some sort of movement in Logic with that. So flick it up and down just so it's the last thing that you've moved or pressed, and then Logic remembers that. So then once you've moved the parameter you want to learn, you go up to the top left, you press Logic Pro, go to Control Surfaces, and then you want to hit the Learn Assignment for, and depending on what button you've selected or moved last, the variable will change. So in my case it's the cutoff, but let's say you're changing the release or the attack, it'll say Learn Assignment for release or attack. So just be aware of that. Okay, so you click that, and then the learn screen pops up and it's waiting for your waiting for your parameter. That means you then need to move that parameter on your MIDI keyboard. Yeah, and those are the steps. And then once that's done and it pops up on the screen, you know it's good. You can come off it and you can start recording some in, which we'll get into in a second. Okay, so that's the list. Hope it helps. And yeah, we'll get into some recording. Right, so just want to talk to you quick now about recording in some of the automation using the MIDI function that we just did. Okay, so we've got our MIDI function set and it's all learnt and it's working, and now we just want to record some in over our track or whatever it is we're working on. Okay, so I've just recorded in these random MIDI notes here with no automation at all, so I'm not using the dial just yet. These are just notes. Yeah, so just random notes. You'll notice now, because I've got the function learnt, if I play this through and then I start to mess around with my MIDI learn dial or whatever it is dial you've learnt, then you'll hear the change. So if we listen to this, yeah, so I'm messing around with my dial that is linked to the filter. That's where we can hear the change, okay? But none of this is actually recorded in yet. So let's say you've put in your pattern on your track and you want to record some changes. Okay, you have to come down to this area here. By default, it'll be set to read. Okay, so what that means is as it's going through here, it's reading what we're doing, but it's not actually recording anything in. Okay, I think if we were to hit record right now, we will see if it records in what we're doing. Okay, so we'll just hit record. So we've already got our MIDI notes in. We'll hit record, try and record the automation over the top. Yeah, so you can see it hasn't recorded. Okay, this is because we're set to read. Okay, we need to change this to latch is what you want to use. Okay, you have touch, you have write. I would stay away for those just starting off. The latch function is going to work good for this. Okay, if you've already got MIDI notes in and you want to just record your automation after, this is the way to do it. That's the way I would suggest as well if you're just starting out. So we've set it to latch. Yeah, so let's just hit record and we'll see how it sounds, see if it records. Here we go. You don't want to let it go through again because obviously it's still going to be recording. So you just want to actually stop it at the end of the part you want to record. And let's listen back and see if it's recorded. Yeah, so you can hear that it's recorded. If you want to double check, press the A to bring down the automation. And then you want to find the parameter we are. So there we go, there's alchemy, there's our cutoff in the used section of all of these parameters. Just click that and you can see the automation's been saved. Okay, so then once that's done and you've done your bit, you need to then switch back from latch to read. Okay, because if you don't do that and you hit record again, then it's just going to record over everything you've just done. So this now goes back to read and then this is safe. Okay, so it's important to know that. Yeah, hopefully that'll help you just recording in some automation over your tracks and your beats that you've done. Okay, so just remember to change this from read to latch when you're recording. Change to latch, hit record, turn your dial as it's recording, and then after that's done, make sure you set it back to read, and then this will all work fine for you. Okay, so that is recording in a bit of automation as well. Hopefully that's going to help you. Yeah, happy days. We shall see you on the next video.